Hello there, welcome to another week in our garden. Now we're starting from the top of the garden this week. I'm just showing you that we've put the net onto the fruit cage. Now the birds were beginning to get in and peck at the fruit as it was setting, so it had to go on. As you can see, the plants inside are doing rather well. The sunshine's brought them on wonderfully. Now the other job I'm doing is I'm putting the pea and bean net up. Yesterday I got the 8 posts up, as you can see. That was the hardest part. They are in the ground between 18 inches and 24 inches. Each post is in and upright. So today I start and put the cross pieces on, the supports for the bird net that goes on the outside and the support for the bean nets on the inside. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to slowly progress with it in the heat of the day, and then as I do a section I'll ask Di just to pop down and we'll just cover it. Now there's the 8 support posts that will hold the beans on one side and the peas on the other, and then the bird netting goes on a frame over the top. Now I'll just give you another little update on how we're getting on with the frame. I've put the side rails on now and the cross pieces. Put the support net on. I've run garden wire through it as well, just to give it that little bit extra support. I've added the canes to it just to make it a little bit more rigid. I shall now get them planted and then we'll put the bird net on to keep the birds off. If you don't have a bird problem, that's enough to support your beans and peas. But as you can see, we're in the middle of nowhere out here. We do have a big problem with the pigeons, so if I don't protect them they'll be gone in a day. Okay, I'll get on with the planting and then we'll see you later when I'm putting the nets on. Here we are with another update. The peas and beans, as you know, were grown in the root trainers. I'll just show you inside. These are the root trainers we got from Gardening Naturally. If you can remember, we planted the seed 3 in each. They all seem to have come through. The idea with the root trainer is when the root gets to the bottom, it dries off, as you can see, and then you get more roots just above. And they've done quite well. Very pleased with them. It's a little bit strong on top, but this last few days of very hot weather's brought them on. I just scooped them out and lay them in ready for backfilling. If you put them through the net, then when you backfill you can bring them up. If you leave them this side, then they get in the way. That's not done so well, but they're all there. That's the size I would prefer them at, actually. There you are, that's one. We'll put another book in and then we'll backfill. There you go, perfect. No problem there. Just scoop them out, flick them through, put them in. Two more. Right, now just before I backfill, I put a little bit of fertiliser on them and on the soil, then I backfill with the soil. This is the fertiliser we're going to use. This is from Gardening Naturally, and I'm going to put a scatter in along the roots and a scatter in along here. Not a lot, just a little. That'll be plenty. And then just push it over. Okay. And then as I go, I just tilt them forward and push the soil behind and loosen behind as well, look, so they're nicely. We do want to put another row in the other side, so we don't want these too tight up. Loosen the back first and then take the front to it. Now it's always best when you're planting peas to leave them, if possible, with a ridge, so when we're finished I'll ridge them up so it's a little way up the peas, and then it'll help them stand. The beans are in, as you can see. I put a row either side of the support net. I've staggered them each side so there's not two together all the way down. I should do exactly the same with the peas. I'll do the other side of this row next, and then we'll start and put the net on to keep the birds off. I have all the peas and the beans now planted, and I'm just giving them a real heavy drink of water to wash the soil down into the roots, and then tomorrow, with it being so late now, tomorrow we'll have to put the bird nets on. I'll have to put a temporary net on just to cover them for tonight, else the pigeons will be here in force tomorrow. They're looking well, they're standing proud already, so there'll not be a lot of problem. Loads and loads of water on them, at least 3 cans on the lines. I'll continue watering and put a bit of a cover over, just keep pigeons off. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Hello there. Another day in the garden. A little bit overcast today, but it's quite warm. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's the wind direction. You'll be able to hear the bypass a little bit in the background, so I do apologise for that. Now we've completed the work. This is it now finished. As you can see, we've used the same net as what's on the fruit cage. This lets the insects in and out, but keeps the birds and the pigeons out of it. We have this hen that we lift up to be able to get into harvest, etc. We will put a crop down the centre. I haven't quite decided yet what we're going to put in there, but we can't leave all that ground open like that. We'll have to put something in. Apart from a little bit of watering, a little bit of weeding, keep an eye on the frost, because these are frost tenders, so if there's going to be a frost, we'll get the fleece in there and get them covered. Now this one's complete. We're actually going to build a salad tunnel. We're just going to put some butterfly net over that, just to keep the butterflies and the birds off. Let's go and have a look. Now this is where we're going to put the salad tunnel. This is on plot A. The rest of this plot will be actually covered in squashes and pumpkins, and courgettes will be in there. Now we're going to build it with these flexible hoops. These are the ones that we got from Gardening Naturally, and they come with ground support. They come with ground supports, so you can just pop it in and then push them into the ground. It just stiffens the bottom up for you a bit. They bend quite easy, as you can see. So all I've done is that I've bent them, pushed them in the ground. These are 2 different colours, because this light green one is one that we've had for about 4 years now. We've got a whole set of them. So I'm not going to use this one, we're going to use the ones that they've sent. Make sure you get your spacing right and get a nice arch over to carry the net. You can do it as long or even shorter if you wish. Do it to suit the piece of ground that you're going to cover. We've only got this little piece here because I said that'll be all taken up. This is the net that comes with the tunnel. This is butterfly net. It'll keep the butterfly and the birds off the salad crops that we're going to put in, and it'll keep those pigeons off. I just saw one flying over just now. He's looking to see what we're putting in for his tea. I've cut it to lengths that I require for the tunnel, and what I do, if you find the centre of one end, like so. So I know that's the centre of this end. I screw it up a little in my hand. I'm going to use these that are hold down pegs. I actually got these from Aldi supermarket, but I'm not going to push it through the net. I'm just going to use that hook to hold on to it and then do the other end. So take that to the centre, straight down, and then just peg it down. Just put the two ends together if you can. Find the centre and then just take a handful and then pull it over. Now, the thing to remember while you're doing these hoops, because they're quite flexible, is don't pull it too tight, else you just pull your ends in. Just put it in just enough to hold the net down. Same again, not using the hooks in the centre. There you are. That, so it's not pulling the net, pulling the hoops over. If you do it too tight, you'll squash them in. Then it's just okay. You'll find that it's about 6 inches each side the mesh, and then I just tidy it round. Make sure it's central on the, like that. You see. When you got it central, we'll put a pin in each side and then do the same to the other end. These are the garden pegs. I use them for all my tunnels. I get them from Wilkinson. You get 10 in a pack. I buy quite a few packs because they are a little bit delicate. If you twist them, they will snap, but they do a good job. I just put the peg on each side with the gather. Remember, not too tight because you'll pull the hoops over. That's it. And then all this I gather together like we do on the tunnels. I gather it and roll it, tidy it, roll it all up and pull this pin out and then reset it there. And that will hold that nice and tidy. Do exactly the same to the other end, and then they've also, these come from Gardening Naturally. They came with the hoops and the net and the clips that you can just, when we're finished, you just pop these on and then they secure the net. Okay, there you are, look. Now, I haven't done all of it on purpose because I want to plant it. Now, as regards soil preparation, because the soil was prepared in the autumn, nicely deeply dug with manure, etc., I will put some of the multi-purpose fertiliser that came from Gardening Naturally in the planting holes, and I want to put some spring onions in, so I'm actually going to put compost on top of the seed one. I'll show you when it's finished. Terrible job to get onions to germinate this year, so I'm going to try it a different way. Right, here's the lettuce and the onions and the radish we're going to plant directly into this little salad tunnel. The lettuce is green cos, the tall lettuces. I have some more little gem which are not quite ready yet, but they'll go in as well. This is Lolo Rossa, the red lettuce. Very nice, that one. As you can see, I've been to Wilco's this morning. I've got a different onion this time. I've got one called Ramrod. We'll see how we go on with that. And that's just a mixed salad radish. The other thing we're going to put is a little bit of the organic multi-purpose fertiliser in the holes as we plant. So I'll get planted and I'll show you when we're watering. So the radish is down this side, a bit easy to pick. Then we've got the spring onion. What I've done is I've put them in and put some compost on top to help with the germination. Just put them in the soil and then start watering over the top. It will crust over and won't let the seedlings come through, so the compost should help them to come up. Talking of radish, we have some radish in the frame that are ready for picking. I've got some more radish in one of the tunnels that's about a fortnight off ready. So we'll get this watered and we'll pick some of that radish so we can take them up to the house, okay? Plenty of water on it. I shall water it twice a day until they all settle down, and then once a day after that. Unless it's raining, then obviously I won't water in the rain. Plenty of water on your lettuce, make it grow. And this is rainwater out the barrel, so it's good for them. Going to have both cans. I guess plenty. There's a few radish here, as you can see. Some are a bit big, but we'll take some of these out and send them up. Now the ones that are a little bit of slug damage, they'll be chopped up and fed to the chickens. They can have the tops as well, so I take out everything and then we'll sort it out as we go. We don't want poppies in here. That one's got a bit of damage on it. Because the salad crops, we don't like to put slug pellets in amongst it, so we have to take the chance with it. At least the birds don't get in. That's a poppy. That one. Nice little pick of radish to get us going. One or two, as you can see, that they'll go for the chickens, they'll eat those. But they are doing rather well. And then as you can see, the parsnips are in there as well, so when these are gone, the parsnips will take over this area. Now about 3 weeks ago now, one of our subscribers asked me if I would take some jasmine cuttings. Now at the time they didn't even have leaves on, so I've held off until now, but I noticed today we've got leaves on the jasmine plant up there, so we'll take some cuttings, pop them in a pot for you and show you how it's done. We'll just take these jasmine cuttings, quite simple, but we'll get on with it. I've got my pruning knife out. I'll use the pruning knife. Usually we use one of the other blades, but while we've got this knife out, we'll use it, and then I'll get it cleaned and stowed away with all the grafting material. So here's the shoot we're going to take. We'll take it off at that and let those two make one. We'll take it off at that and let those grow on, okay? So we'll go in there, look. It's quite tough. There you go. And then we'll take that one off. Put my rooting powder on there for quickness. And then we'll take it off just below that node. Then what we'll do is we're going to make sure it's all on, but not knock off the excess so it's just covered, and then make a nice hole. The compost has got lots of grit in it, and it's got sand and vermiculite in it just to open it up a bit. You don't want it too closed up compost. Remember, we'll take that top off because then these two will grow on, and then we'll go between this node here, see, just below that node, and cut, and then we'll take those two off. Not too close, but not right up to the stem, so that you'll not get your roots out. Same again, knock off the excess, and then we'll do one more. Pop it in, and then tighten it down so it's not hung. So we want one more in there, and that'll do these. Plenty of water when you first do them, and then put them in the greenhouse. You see, when you're taking your cutting, if you have these as the cutting, these will just flop over, but these are a little bit smaller, so they'll be fine. So we'll go in there, look, and we'll take that off. And we'll take those two off because they're a little bit long. If you really push for a number of plants, you could actually use those for cuttings as well, but they will need a lot of misting. And then we'll go under this node here, look. Through we go. I've got powder all over them, but it won't do them any harm. And then in it goes. Not that deep though. And make sure the bottom's solid. One little touch. We'll water it, put a label in, put it in the greenhouse, and they'll be away. While we're doing cuttings, that reminded me to tell you that if you can remember, we took some of the vine cuttings in the autumn and left them in the greenhouse, but I noticed yesterday they're starting to leaf now, so there's a probability they've taken. But we'll look at those next week. The tomato grafts are all doing fine. I think I've lost 2, but it's been very, very hot, and if they get too hot, they don't take very well. And we'll show you those next week, because as I say, we're a bit pushed for time now. So that'll be about it for this week. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Very, very busy, as you can see behind me, with all the fuchsias, and the petunias are all there waiting. It'll soon be time to start doing hanging baskets, so I really need to get this garden squared up so we can get on with the baskets. No doubt we'll be colour coordinating this year. That'll be it for this week. Many, many thanks for subscribing. Thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Bye now.